Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, good morning. And my name is Richard Chavez. I've been with Active Realty for quite some time. Justin asked me to do a little presentation for us this morning regarding RealScout, which is my favorite tool. It's my wife and I have been using this for 6 years now, and it's really worked out well for us. And I want to tell you a little bit about the benefits of using it, and then just some basic how to use it. Okay. Have you guys used it already? Do you use it? Okay. I'll just kind of go over what works for me and for Marlene, and I think you might find some benefit from it. And for those of you that haven't used RealScout, probably the biggest benefit is that you're able to send out listings and sold comps to your clients, schedule them, and they'll keep sending them out on a repeated basis as they become available. And you can change the criteria to whatever works best for your clients. And then you get automatic feedback when they take a look at them. The other thing that RealScout does that is really beneficial is that they personalize it. So they'll take information off the MLS. For instance, if you're sending a home that has pools, it'll say it has a gorgeous pool with barbecue, et cetera, and kind of boast up the amenities of the home, so that when they get the email, it looks like it might be something they like. Or it's got an open floor plan, it's got hardwood floors. It just kind of gives them a little bit of information, and you don't have to type any of that in. It just automatically sends it, which is great. The program also attracts your clients, so you can see how often they open emails, how often they mark homes that are interested, they may be interested in, and how often they view homes. And what my wife and I do is daily, and I'll show you here in a second on this particular one, will show us who's looked at homes so far today. Today, for instance, we've already had 57 emails opened today, and 18 homes viewed. So I'll go so I'll go through here. I already mostly know the clients, and if it looks like they marked the home as interested or they've seen it several times, I'll email them or call them right away. Say, hey, that house is available. Here's your scoop on it. It fell out of escrow. It's available. I can show it to you today if you want. On the 2 today, that's exactly what I've already done. So I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to show you basically just kind of the basics of RealScout. So we're on our dashboard here. If you've got a new client, we would go to add a client. Pretty basic format. Email, first name, last name. I don't put in the phone number or a source. I keep it basic, because we're also tracking them on Follow Up Boss as well. And so also when you do this, I got here. Let me go over to the screen. It's a different screen. If we do a search, this
really quick.
Sure.
We're having problems. They can't quite hear you. I want to make sure you're not on mute.
Oh.
You are. Hold on.
Oh. Oh, good. Well, that was a practice. I'll have to do it again.
You can't unmute him? Yeah.
For some reason, it's not allowing. No, I know. It's not allowing him to share his screen. It takes out the audio. So which one is connected to the...
Turn his video off.
Yeah.
Turn his video off and share his screen. It's because there's 2 video feeds.
Which one?
Turn his video off.
Okay.
Turn the video off. Now share his screen. There you go.
Can you still hear?
1, 2, 3.
Okay,
No.
hold on. I'll just unmute here.
Okay.
Right here. Okay. Go ahead. How about now? Can you guys hear him now?
Can you hear me now? 1, 2, 3.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
1 million, 2 million?
1 million, 2 million.
1 million, 2 million, 3 million in the pipe?
So do you want me to just start from scratch?
Super. Yeah, no,
I'll continue to do it because I already have this recorded. Already.
okay, cool. Yeah, just continue.
Okay. So if we go to do a search for a new client, you'll see the criterias on here, and you can do price point, number of bedrooms, the standard stuff that you would normally do. And how do I get the screen down here? over here. Okay, because that I'm not familiar from.
Click on it
Okay.
and then scroll it. Or just go down like this.
Oh, there we go. That's better. Okay. There's a whole bunch of criteria that you can choose. One of the features that this does have that we've used a couple of times, but you have to be careful with it, is school boundaries. For instance, sometimes people want to be in a certain schools, like in Yorba Linda or even here in Corona. So you can pick the school district. The downside with that is not all agents list the school district on the MLS, so it won't auto-populate. So you'll use it, but it's not good criteria. You're better off just doing a map of that. Get on the internet, find the school district map, and then just generally that general area, do it that way, and that works out better. Also, what you can do here is you can add additional criteria. You've got your basic features, pool, parking features, all the basic stuff that you'll normally see. But you can go further down and you can add right here, add additional options to customize your search. So let's say somebody wants a 55 plus community or horse property, stuff that isn't on this screen here. You can add it right off the MLS, right using that feature right there, which actually works pretty well. What I like to do is I'll use a city, and as we all know, sometimes somebody will say they want Norco. But they might be okay with Harupa Valley as well, right? Or they want, because they're looking for a horse property. So what I'll do is I'll automatically add the other city right off the bat and send them. And I'll say, look, I've sent, and then I'll send them an email. My first initial email is I'm sending you properties in Norco, as we had discussed, and surrounding areas, just in case you might find something else that might be interesting. And it expands it. And typically they're also already looking on the internet, maybe Zillow or other sites themselves. But what I have found is that they appreciate this. What we've learned lately, especially with new leads, is if you get a new lead and you call, they may be getting called by a bunch of agents at the same time, right? So sometimes I'll leave a message, sometimes I don't, but I will automatically, immediately send them listings through RealScout. And I've noticed that 50 to 70% of the time, within the first week, they look. And then they'll continue to look. And if they're not looking in the first 10 days, they're probably not going to look. Although you'd be surprised out of the clear, because you don't know what people are going through. They may not look right away, or they don't want to be bothered with a phone call, but they're going to look at their leisure. They got kids. Somebody got sick. They went on vacation, so they haven't got to it. And all of a sudden they get back from vacation, it's all sitting there for them. And I have had some really positive feedback just from that. We have been doing this for 6 years, and I'm going to show you just today. And let's see, I'll go to the dashboard here. What today looked like. Let's see, we're going to go to clients. Okay. So these are all our clients. We have 1,275 clients in here now. And you can see that some of them date back to 6 years. Now this here, if you go to the clients section, and then you come on over, and let's say we want to see who's been looking at homes. And up here, there's a little corner, it'll say within the last 10 days. You can click on that. You can go 24 hours or 30 days. I like to do a 10-day period. So within the last 10 days, we click on homes viewed. And there we go. These are the people that have looked at homes in the last 10 days. And you can look at this. J.C. Barraza looked at 70 homes in the last 10 days, right? He opened 3 emails. Monique looked at 29. She opened up 12 mails. This is in a 10-day period. So obviously now it prioritizes your clients for you, right? We know exactly who we need to call. These are the people. Now, these people I already know because we've been working with them. So I sent Monica, she clicked on one this morning that she liked, and I emailed her right away. J.C. Barraza, for instance, he's been looking for some time, but he's not going to be ready till the end of the year. So I kind of categorize them as kind of serial lookers. They just look because they'd like to see what's on there. But they identify you as their agent because they're looking at your stuff, which I think is fabulous. And we'll look at here, Philip Kuros here. He's been looking for 5 years, and he popped up again he hadn't looked for a long time. And all of a sudden, a few months ago, he started looking. I gave him a call. He says, I'm not quite ready yet, but he's looking at high-end stuff. He's looking at stuff that's $2 million plus in Anaheim Hills. So it's a great client. And if it wasn't for this program, I probably wouldn't have followed up on him because he was basically dead, right? But the program resurrected him, which is just absolutely fabulous. You can also, it'll show you if it's been disabled. Now, a client can disable it themselves. You can disable it. Or if it goes for a long period of time, and I don't know what the criteria is that RealScout uses, but if they've stopped looking altogether with, the program will disable them. But they send you a list saying all these people have been disabled, and you can update them yourself if you'd like. Let's see.
I actually have a question.
Sure.
So when the program or they disable or like unsubscribe from the RealScout emails,
Mm-hmm.
what time period do you wait to like re-add them to your emails? Like, for example, the Philip, he's been added 5 years ago, so I'm sure he's been disabled once or twice. If he's taken a break, so how long do you kind of allow that?
Philip, what happened, he didn't take a long enough break that he got disabled in his particular case. But we have had others that, in the way, what happened is they were disabled, and all of a sudden they came in as a lead through another source. So then I go back in here and reopened up, reestablished them, undisabled them. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Undisabled them and put them back in the system and started sending them properties on a regular basis. Now, I wanted to go back here to, let me go to my dashboard, because this is probably a kind of a important part of this. Oh, no, we don't want here. We want client search. Let me go to search here. This is kind of a significant part. Is how often do we want to send them emails, right? You don't want to. For me, I don't like bombing people with anything. It's just our style. So some people are more assertive than Marlene and I are. So if you go to, you did your search here for your client, right? All the criteria, and you go save to client, and then you can schedule the showings. So what's worked well for us, if it's somebody that's really actively looking, we'll do 3 days a week. So I'll go and send them properties on Tuesday, set them up for Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And this has worked out. Today is, we've already had 59. Today's Tuesday. So people this morning started opening up their emails. And then Saturdays and holidays, get a ton. What was the last holiday we had? A Memorial Day, right? Mm-hmm. We had on that Memorial Day, on one day, 105 people looking at emails. So what happens is people get up in the morning, it's a holiday, you know what, we still want to look for a house, let's see what's get on the internet, and they start looking. So Saturdays works, people think, we might go look at open houses, and they start looking at their emails. And that's worked for us. Now if it's if you have a high-end client where perhaps there isn't a lot of inventory for them, they're in a certain part of Irvine, and it's limited. You don't want to be sending them emails, because what's going to happen if you send them 3 times a week, they're going to be getting the same email, right? You start to bug them. So what I'll do is I'll take one day out, do it 2 days, and then if they're long term, I might even just do 1 day. They said, look, we're not going to buy till next year. I may just change it just to Saturdays, but you can adjust it based on what you get to know your clients. Probably the biggest benefit that we've seen, and which I just love, is that out of the clear, you're going to get somebody's going to pop up that you basically had maybe forgotten about, and the program saves you. It's like a savings account. You put the money away and you kind of forgot you even had it in there. Maybe it's not a lot of money, or maybe it is, but it's there when you need it, and that's what this has done. You can also blast your clients if you want to send a whole bunch of people something at the same time. You can do that. Anything else I've missed, Justin? I think that's basically it. I know sometimes I talk fast. You guys have any questions?
So good.
I was just curious, because I always send immediately, because how property hits the market,
Right.
you want to contact them. So, but I mean, obviously, it's working for you to send them every 3 days,
Right.
versus that even just one pops on the market, they get the email,
Right.
so they contact you, hey, it just came on the market.
So you would do like 7 days a week. So as soon as it pops up, then you get it.
That's what I do too.
Yeah.
I've never
I don't put
just-
daily, I put
Yeah.
immediately.
Immediately.
As soon as it
Yeah.
pops, so this way, you know, you get a chance. to
That's
get
not,
it.
Yeah.
that's probably a good thing I could do.
Because that
Yeah.
works, so
It-
3 days a week.
3 days a week has worked for us, but perhaps, and maybe what you would do is if you got somebody that's a little more enthusiastic, you know, they're looking
Yeah.
for it now,
Yeah.
is do immediate, right?
And then also to like the time of the year, right? So like right now there's more inventory and that inventory is going very fast. So immediate is good because it's like on their radar and then it gives you a reason to follow up with them too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I just sent you this property, it just hit the market, it fits your criteria, we gotta move quick.
Yeah.
You know, I do have a couple of clients like that, and
Yeah.
I need to change it to that.
Yeah.
Because they're looking right away, and they wait every other day. It's like, oh shoot, this came on the market yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Or 2-3 days ago if I didn't send it every day or immediate. Okay, so that's not a bad idea, and that's the beauty of this program is you can customize it based on your longer term clients, you know, kind of people that maybe will look.
Yeah, looking right away.
We're looking right away. Are pre-approved. There's also, if they're not ready to look, you know, just put them on a drip or, you know, whatever every other day and just send it to them. They're not ready. They're not ready anyway. They're not pre-approved.
I haven't used it enough to know yet. Does it read, if somebody doesn't open an email, because, you know, it goes to, let's say it goes in the
Right.
junk file initially, they don't open it up, does it resend it in a couple of days? Hey, you missed, you haven't
It
got
does.
an email? Oh, it does.
It does. It'll send you. It'll send a message that says you've not viewed these yet, or not viewed these homes yet.
Perfect. So you
Yeah.
don't have to go back and go over.
No, it'll send them
And
again.
that's where like how you guys do it, it's good to call them to say like, hey, because just like our spam filters, if you don't open them enough, they're gonna go to spam,
Yeah.
you know? And so it's good to like even copy and paste it in your own email and be like, hey, I sent you these second look, you know?
I do that. I'll,
Yeah.
I'll copy and paste and send and just send them the one property or whatever it was,
Yeah.
or 2 or 3.
That looker.
Yeah. Hey, just by the way, if you didn't catch this, I'm sending it directly.
What I do like about this versus the MLS auto email system is the MLS auto email system sends an email, then it says, go to this link. It doesn't show any property.
Right.
This actually is
Yeah.
right there on the email, so that's big. Because,
Yeah.
like you said, it has the specific items about the property, so they can look at it without having to click anywhere else.
Yeah, which is interesting too, because on the clients here where it says, oh, let me get out of this. There we go. Where it says, emails opened and then versus homes viewed, they could open the email if it's only one home and they viewed the home, right? So they didn't necessarily click on the home, but because it pops up on the email, they probably saw that one house. So so they're taking a look at them. I like using this page because if I get busy or you're gone for a couple of days for whatever reason, although you two guys or none of us here are ever gone for a couple of days, I don't think.
Yeah.
But if you are, you can come back and say, look, I'm going to just catch up and go to who's looked in the last 10 days, and it gives you the whole list right off the top. And I was really surprised, and if you look at this, I'll go to emails open again. That there's clients that we've had for Lindy 6 years, and she's going to buy. They were looking to buy, they changed their mind. What happened is, like a lot of clients we had, they got outbid last year, right? Okay, we made offers, they got outbid. So she's like, we're going to wait, and all of a sudden she got back in and started looking, and I've showed her house a couple of weeks ago, and another one popped up today that she did like. So it's a great tool.
So
And
when it says disabled, that means they disabled it or the system did?
it's not specific.
Yeah.
So it's just been disabled, yeah.
And that's another good thing that you can go back and look at the leads you've already got in Follow Up Boss and use that as a barometer. Because maybe they didn't like the homes, maybe their criteria changed, or maybe they bought. Either way, you want to disposition that lead. Because if they bought, you can always ask, like, hey, where'd you end up buying? Like, what'd you end up getting? And if you can build a rapport, that's a would-be seller at some point. So you can set them up on HomeBot or a home search or a home valuation drip, right? So people forget that buyers are now sellers, right?
That's a
and
good
then
point.
if they didn't buy, then now they're a buyer still. And
Or
you're like, hey, what changed?
there's another scenario which I've run into, which was really kind of cool, was they were buyers, then they're buying because they went directly to a listing agent. 2 years later, they're looking to buy again. right?
Yeah.
And they might be a buy and a sale, or they're buying for their son, right? And so, but they're still looking as buyers. So that was a kind of a nice thing. Another thing that kind of a little more specific into the details here is sometimes you'll see that they've been rejecting emails, right? And what I've noticed is some clients will reject the email because they didn't like the house. They didn't want you to stop sending. They just didn't. They just said, they just rejected it. And at first, if they were rejecting, I would disable them. It's like I don't want to be bothering them. They're not looking at these anyway. But now what I'll do is I'll wait till if they rejected, 7 days straight, or 10 days straight. Okay, then just disable them. But if they reject, just because they reject, don't disable them, because they may 2-3 days later start looking again. Yeah, and that was a little lesson I learned kind of the hard way, because I realized, oh shoot, rejected them, and then later on, they came through a different format and looking at houses, and I thought, shoot, they're still looking. I canceled them.
Yeah.
Let me get some water here.
Smart.
It's a good program.
Cool.
Have you ever used market alerts in RealScout?
What part are we looking at here?
Which is below
Underneath.
messages?
Oh, this here?
Yeah. Right there.
You know what? I haven't.
I've always wanted to try, but I just didn't know what it.
So I'll do the next training on that because I exclusively use that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've always wanted to try to use it, and
Yeah.
then also listing tools. But normally, most people use RealScout just for buyers.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to see what also it offers.
Yeah, so the market alerts will give you what's going on in a certain boundary or what sales are going on, and then you can set up the same criteria so they can look at the comps that are selling.
Yeah, I like to zoom in on the neighborhood and then draw
Yeah,
the
Right.
neighborhood. And
Yeah.
Then, leave it.
I usually go zip code because a lot of people are like, picture yourself when you own a house. You want to know what your house stacks up against your neighbors and the city. And so a lot of times I'll 92880. They'll be like, oh, well, what's the median home price in my area, Or what's the highest sell? Or what's the, how many houses sold? People just love fun facts about the areas they live in. So I'll do that stuff in there. And then you can see.
I've never. You know what? I haven't used this.
Yeah, so you can click on that. And I'll do a training on it next time.
Okay.
And it's really simple. And then what I do is I go plus and minus 100, depending on what it is, 10 to 25% of whatever their house is. Because if their house is $1 million, they don't want to see houses 300,000. They don't want to see houses 5 million necessarily. So what I do is I do 10, 20% to whatever their house is, so they can see other houses depending on the area. If I know the area ranges a little bit and they want to see the high end stuff, because it's I think we all want what we either don't have or can't have. Everybody wants that little dream build thing. So I use this in relation where they don't lose sight of what their house actually is worth. So they can see what their house is comp, but then they can see oh, I can get that house on the hill, for, $500,000 more, but the house is 4 times bigger, and they might end up seeing that,
Probably the other last thing that I have used it that's come in handy is on support. The tutorials here are actually really simple. They're quick little videos, and they walk you through anything. So if there was something you weren't familiar with, in 2 minutes they explain everything to you. And I've used that a couple of times, which came in really handy. Although I'm an old dog and don't like new tricks, but once I get set on the way I'm going to do it is the way I'm going to do it. I didn't even like RealScout when we first got it. I was so used to using the MLS. And I go, oh God, another thing to learn, right? And after a couple of days, I thought, holy smokes, this is much better. And I think probably the feature that attracted a lot more clients to look at it was the fact that the house pops up, right? And then it says, oh, this one does have a pool, or this one has a huge yard, and they start reading it, which is nice, as opposed to a link, right?
For sure. Yeah, and then RealScout's coming out with a seller. So on the market reports, one of the reasons you don't, I don't actually get a huge response rate out of it because it's not a nice boxed in report. You'd have to know what it is that you're looking at.
Oh.
So a normal client doesn't see what they would see on Zillow. Your home range is this to this, and it's like this boxed in, like low Carfax information. And so that's what Real Scout is finally did, is they did that to their market drip, but they haven't rolled it out to everybody yet. So I've kind of paused my people on it to wait, and I've actually used HomeBot, because HomeBot, you can see them through it, and I've done that. And then once they actually roll it out, then I'll probably transition everybody back to this. Yeah.
I actually have another question, and I was shown this, but I completely forgot. I've been trying to figure it out. When you add a new client and then you add a new search for that client, it gives you like a preview of all like the houses that you're about to send them.
Right.
Certain, you go through and you can kind of see like, oh, they're not going to like them. How do you remove that from the sent list?
That's it. You can remove them from the send list. Oh, not from the criteria. So the criteria stays the same.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's say you were sending them homes in Fontana, right? And there's some nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes in the 450 to 550 range. But then you're going to see one or two that are just, maybe they're a bigger yard, but it's a mess. And you know your clients, you'd be embarrassed to sell, right? So what I have to do is individually take them out. But once it starts sending them automatically, they're just going to get them, because it's hard to change the criteria.
How do you do that? Like, how do you individually take them out?
I'd have to, let me see, how am I going to do this? I'd have to do a search here. Let me do a search.
And what I've done, just because I've literally lost clients on the one or two that I cut out that they wanted, and they're like, oh, we didn't get those on what you sent. Even though I knew they weren't a good fit, the client still wanted to see them. And so I end up saying, hey, I'm sending you everything. Focus on these ones that I think are best, but I sent everything just so you know that you have it.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's easy for them to go like this, but I've literally, they're like, oh, well, you didn't send me that one, so I didn't think it was available from you. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, how would you think that?
I frame it this way: is I'm sending you everything in that general area with that criteria, and actually I'm going to go up a little bit higher in price just so you can see what's available, and that way they know what's available. Oh, there's a bunch of junk available, or there's some really nice homes. But I'd have to pull up a specific client, and let's see if I can do that. But what you do is they'll all come up, and they're in your queue to send, and then you highlight them, and then there's a box that'll say trash,
Okay.
and you just click on them, and it gets rid of them,
Okay.
so it doesn't send. And I do that.
Okay.
But it's good to but it only, once it starts sending them automatically, they're getting whatever the criteria was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what I do too is I always say on my initial email, this is round one, like prelim. If there's something that you don't like and you want to change, let's update the criteria. Because when you send them that higher price point, either they can't afford it and they're like, no, I don't want to see it, I can't afford it. Or they're like, actually, we talked to the lender, we probably could lean towards the 4-bedroom instead of the 3-bedroom. So let's concentrate on those. And then if we find a nice 3-bedroom at a good price, we'll do that too. You know?
Yeah. You know what's good too is just to, if somebody popped up and they haven't been looking for a while, it just renew the criteria anyway. Because the prices a year ago and 2 years ago, much different they are now, right?
Yeah.
They were looking for $550 then, well, and it's $750 now. So update the criteria. And what I'd like to do is just little by little expand the geographic area. Because there's a lot of times people say, no, I want to be in Anaheim Hills. And they end up buying in Orange, or they end up buying in Tustin, or they end up buying Huntington Beach, right? So just expand it. It doesn't hurt. The more houses they look at, they're fine with it. They're going to be looking through it anyway. If they don't like it, they just scroll right through it.
And there's I was also statistics for like following up on your emails. I was looking at the market reports. There's 38% less available listings than there was a year ago, and there's 25%, 30% less escrows closed as there was a year ago, and there's almost, I think it was like 40% less closings, right? And so the reason that you would do that is because there's only 6 out of 10 available homes that there was just a year ago, right? So even though things are a little bit more expensive, everybody's shoved into a smaller like a box, and so now they want to expand their box. So that's when they're going to start looking at new homes. That's when they're going to start looking at different areas. That's when they're going to start looking further east, or maybe smaller in an urban area, and you want to track them because they're going to move quick,
So yesterday, matter of fact, she's in here on my clients. She on my dashboard. She texted me. Let me see if I find her. If she's in here. Oh no, she texted a client that we've had for like 4 years. Was looking South Orange County for a 2-bedroom condo, and we were looking during the peak of the market. We made a bunch of offers, and it just never worked out. They could not afford to go above appraisal price, and they just didn't have the money. So they were just on hold. Let's see what happens to the market. And so, but they were set on. He's a school teacher in that area, and yesterday she texted me and says, "Look, we're considering Temecula." And I thought, yeah, perfect. That's a great idea. But I think the fact that we've stayed in connection through this is like basically what she's telling me is update my criteria for me. So that's essentially it. I think if you've used the MLS, this is simpler, but just a better tool. Any other questions?
Nope, good stuff.
Can we go to happy hour now?
Yeah, there you go. Is it Friday yet?
Is it Friday yet?
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Good deal.